Welcome back. Whoopsie doodle. They didn't change the text up there. Welcome back to ReThink 3, the third ReThink game, not to be confused with the third ReThink Evolved game, which is different things, including the developer, as far as being confused with ReThink Evolved 3, because it says ReThink Evolved 3 at the top of the screen. I still feel like this game should have like a title screen that shows the name of the game. Like, it's not like I accidentally loaded the wrong game or anything, but it's like, it's just so expected. Anyway, even though I mean sometimes, the developer sent me a code again for another new game. So they're a real good support. Whoa. That was a visual. Okay, let's tone you down. Let's try that. There we go. That's better. Alright, so we once again are dropped off in a facility for testing where things will occur. We have coming in off of a train this time. We're probably once again a tourist at a museum or something, because they seem to have moved on from the prisoners being tested thing. Or maybe it's going to be the post thing where now we're back to prisoners. Cycles repeat themselves and all that. Oh, hello. Several messages. Okay. You can always press H to hide and show current and previous tutorials. WSD is move, left shift run, spacebar jump, E is interact, moving objects. Cubes and other objects can be selected and moved around with left mouse button or right. Mouse button deselects what you currently have selected. Rotate objects, use mouse wheel up and down. You can swap objects of similar type directly by placing your currently selected object onto another. Oh, that's new. I think. Okay. Does that hide all tutorials? Just this one, I wonder. So one question is going to be, what new mechanic are they adding this time around? Probably be a bit into the game before it shows up. Haha! Nope, door's closed. So this is the series I struggle with, usually. Yeah. I'm gonna have trouble with this one. The difference between the ReThink series and the ReThink Evolved series is that in ReThink Evolved, you do physics-based puzzles to some extent, and that you have all these boxes and you can pick them up and move them around the entire room and point them anywhere. And the increased freedom loosens up the puzzle design a bit, usually, and so I usually have a way easier time with those games. But the restrictiveness of these ones can be tough, because you're using a specific combination of places that boxes can be placed, and you have to solve the puzzle from there. Looks like they already... Nah. Looks like we already have a new mechanic, though. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. So in ReThink 1 and 2, you have a series of individual spots that are like the valid locations for placing what is your inventory of items. It looks like this time around we have a grid that is like the playable area, which they can of course turn it on and off, and we'll see how restrictive or not restrictive future puzzles turn out to be and stuff, but in this one's case we have like a whole area. That's interesting. I get these controls right though. Just gotta figure them out. Okay. I think in ReThink 1 and 2 you kind of collected them all, or you had like a budget and you could place them places or something. It looks like this one, they're all gonna start off on the board and not in your inventory, and you will move them around one by one. Okay. So anyway, this, you can move this around. What did this thing do again? What did this thing do? I don't remember. Okay, so this thing is currently shooting through these two beams, and then we need it to hit that beam also. Oh, right. This is the power source. There we go. I just had to remember that there was a second one of those over there. A second beam source. Here's a little stat screen again. So this one will have 3 linear redirectors, 2 power sources. We have 4 diamonds and 2 X's. History. The beginning. In the year 2279, it got public that the government had sold its correctional institutions to a private investor. This was done due to ever-increasing costs to run these facilities that were originally built to incarcerate felons convicted and sentenced to more than years. There's supposed to be a number there, and there's not a number there. The investor bought these facilities in 2245 after the government failed for 7 years to operate them in a way to who failed? Yeah, the government failed to operate them correctly for 7 years in a way that would be financially self-sustaining. In the years from 2247 to 2249, the facilities were modernized and research and rehabilitation centers were constructed. The public was told that these were needed to prevent physical and mental degradation of the inmates. It looks like the proofreading still hasn't been updated for the English version. Which I don't know how many versions there are actually. I don't know if it starts in English or if it's translated to English. I think the developer can speak English because they watch these videos. So at the very least, I don't know. So we have a blue... Got a blue beam and a red beam. I gotta get used to this toggle system. There we go. Okay. We want a blue to go there and there. So it makes way more sense, I think, to use this one. There's where the switching comes in handy. That would have been really fiddly otherwise, if I couldn't do it that way. Then you rotate. Alright, this'll change things. This kind of freedom, this new floor system. So the new mechanic came sooner than I expected, because usually the new mechanic is like a new block. And usually they start off with the simple blocks first, so they have to work up to the new mechanic. Not this time. Is that everything? That's the 4 diamonds. Wait, didn't you... Did I misread that? I completely misread that. I thought, for some reason, I thought there was X's in this course. And I was wrong. A nice little garden. A3. Oh, we're going... Okay. We're pedal to the metal here. We're going straight to wall puzzles, which are really trippy, usually. Here's the panel. Investigations. For many years, no one asked questions. No one cared. The government saved a lot of money and only had to pay a monthly fee per inmate. Capitalized fee. And society did not care about inmates anyway, as long as they were kept out of their sight. Oh, social commentary. At some point, the government got aware of the fact that these facilities were... I would say became aware of the fact that these facilities, like, that would be became, and just get rid of the comma entirely, that these facilities were taking in more inmates than they reasonably could deal with and started to ask questions. Because they're all getting put in the meat grinder. When they did not get any answers, they decided to send investigators to get the information they searched for. The investigation showed that many inmates the government still was paying for were not in their facilities anymore. They just existed as numbers. Ooh. Actually, this might be the same text from the last game. I don't know if it's changed since Evolve 3. We need 3 diamonds to get through. I have 1 power source, 5 linear redirections. We have 3 diamonds and 1 X. Wait, last time I thought I saw an X too. Oh, there's an X. There is an X this time. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I might have been crazy last time, but not this time. Alright. So... there's 3 diamonds on this wall. Oh. There you are. I was wondering where the power source was. I was looking around on the floor and everything. But it's over here. I see what's going on here. I gotta trace this via the floor tiles until I get to the beam. And then it lines up. Now our goal is to get 3 diamonds, and I have 4 of these things. Wow. Let's go the simplest option. Which is just to zigzag up and down the entire map. And see if I run out or not. I did not. There we go. Because that pattern covers the entire board, so no, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't even matter where the diamonds are. It hits every single tile. And it works. 3-3. I totally thought for a second that those might open. I was curious. The truth. Reality was that the non-existent inmates actually were not existing anymore. Due to a variety of experiments. That's a really fun... that sentence really is really funny. Due to a variety of experiments they had to go through. The results of these experiments were sold to other companies for purposes still unknown to uncounted today. Some of these experiments were relatively harmless and only required the inmates to solve a variety of puzzles involving cubes and lasers. Inmates had also been talked into taking part in all of these experiments by offering them their freedom, capital freedom, as a reward. In the end at the end of testing, the inmates either were sent to another test with the same promise, or killed and got their organs harvested and sold on the black market. This is like intensely illegal. Like it's next level. It's not even like, we just had them perform dangerous tasks because it benefited us and they were inmates, so nobody really cared that there was like negative outcomes. But then there's like, fuck it, we'll just kill them and sell their organs. It's like, it goes really like, it goes from like normal-ish like capitalism of like, just you have the inmates, you do all the dangerous jobs and no one will really bat an eye at it, to like, and also murder them all. That beam's just going into the wall right now. So we have some stuff to unpack here. Let's see here. There's 4 diamonds, 1 triangle, 1 X. And we have 8 cubes and 3 power sources. Huh. 4, 1, and 1. So those 4 I need to use to open the door most likely, whereas these 2 are also here. This one powers that beam, this one powers that beam. That one's always powered by whatever crystal's in it. I can change what they are. Red and blue are down here. Whereas green is over here. It would kind of it probably makes sense to keep green where it is. Judging by the fact that, you know, it's shooting directly to the greens. So we probably don't want to change the beam's locations. Although those 2 still might benefit from switching places with each other depending on how this thing's set up. So getting you to line up with you is easy. Getting you to line up with you is a problem because we don't have a square to use right here. But we can take ones from up here and just take them down here if I want to. Ah, right, that issue. We have to make sure to not block the blue. Oh, but you're green. Right. Didn't really think about that. That probably means that the beam that comes out of you is also green. Yep, the beam that comes out is green. I wonder if it's determined by... What does determine the color of these beams? Maybe they just are predetermined, or maybe they just match the source block, or whatever? Okay. That seems about right to me. No. That is problem, yes. But if I take you down here and take you back one tile, then we can get you to blue, which just means we need to move the green sequence up. There we go. Aha. It's actually really nice to do wall puzzles here. Like, not only is it does the wall puzzle let me just see the entire puzzle at once and just manually move it all around while standing perfectly still from one fixed position, but the walls that we're using right now have they're almost black. So that also addresses one of my previous issues with these games, is that so much of the area is like a pristine white location, and beams are almost white. Like, if you look at it, the beam itself, it's hard to tell for sure without doing like a color picker, but it looks like the beam itself is literally just white, and the glow around it is the color that we're looking at. So the white on white can get really rough, and that's been a thing I've talked about here and there. But solving on a black wall, you're like, ah, look how clear it all is. Like, everything on the screen is super easy to pick out here. It's kind of nice. And it comes from both a color change and a perspective change. Going to be. Oh no, I went through a teleporter. That means I'm dead. They dematerialized my body and killed me, and then brought in a clone with my memories to solve the next part of the puzzle. That is how, as far as I could tell from when I watched a lot of Next Generation, that is canonically how Star Trek works, and that's terrifying. But you know, you make your own sci-fi universe, your teleporters can work differently. But Star Trek teleporters are terrifying, and Bones was correct to be not happy about being teleported. What am I looking at here? This is something new. We'll get to that in a minute. The aftermath. The government used force to regain control over all the facilities sold decades ago while facing massive backlash from the public as the story got leaked. Over the next years, until 2282, all the facilities were closed and leftover inmates were brought to newly built prisons, and the ones with only a short time on their sentence left had been set free. The people involved, and knowing of the things that happened, are now serving lifelong sentences, but the actors behind all of this were never uncovered. Some of the now closed facilities have been turned into interactive museums capitalized based on the tasks capitalized inmates were given. Old concept meets new idea. Let's just close it out. As the popularity of aforementioned museums capitalized increased, companies began to copy the basic concept. Increasing companies, or more and more companies began to copy the basic concept and bring it back as a modern form of escape game. Over the years, many different versions of the game concept were introduced around the world, some more successful than others, but in general, liked by the public. This is one of them places, out of many we own and operate around the world. I like how there's almost like a self-awareness of like the original premise made so little sense. They're like, we're gonna put prisoners in here for some reason and then kill them for some reason. Well, to sell their organs to the black market, I guess. But this whole time you could have just like had people pay to do this shit. Like, if this existed in some universe, you don't need to force prisoners to go into like a nice, pristine, beautiful, colorful, playful area to solve laser puzzles. I mean, you'd have to deal with whether or not you can make the lasers not dangerous, because that's apparently a thing, but that's very doable. Just don't make dangerous lasers. Like, you can make an emitter and a sensor that pick up on each other without making them lethal or blinding. So from the very get-go, they always could have made this whole thing just a fun puzzle thing that people do for fun, which is also what I'm doing as the player. But there was somehow this like lethal, like prisoner meat grinder narrative that was really hard to justify based on what you're seeing with like the calming music and the pristine, pretty like architecture and everything, and you're like, and this is where we kill all the prisoners, and society doesn't bat an eye because it's all grimdark and stuff. And it's like those, it's hard. It's really hard to mesh those two ideas together. What does this do? Oh, they both toggle the same thing, don't they? I'm not sure why there's two. Okay. I'll have to figure out how to put a beam through it or something to figure out what it does before we move on. 3 power sources, 1 diamond. My goal is just to get 1 diamond to be lit up. Ah, we have an alternator. Why? Huh. If I only have 1 target, why would I wonder why I would need an alternator. Oh right, I can move this. Of course I can. Okay. So there's the forward arrow. Ah! Okay. That's why there's 2 buttons. I was wondering why these 4 tiles are darker. At first I thought it was selectable, and then it wasn't. But I just kind of moved on. But it's an elevator. Gotcha. Well, we have a lot of these buttons around. Okay. So I think this is just a normal laser puzzle, but they were just introducing... Because it's just one of those rooms where you have to understand how to use the toggle in order to continue. Which means now I have that mechanic explained, which... Wait, what? Did they replace the other beam? Yeah, it's not shooting anywhere else. It's only shooting in one direction when you press the toggle button. Huh. And it's marked as being that. So they used the same icon, but they seem to have deleted the previous... It looks like the alternating thing is just gone. Huh. Unexpected. The alternator led to the most complicated and difficult puzzles in any of the games, I think. Some of them were fun and some of them were exhausting. But yeah, you essentially had to solve 2 puzzle states simultaneously. But that icon being used for this thing would suggest that that's not around anymore. Okay, yeah, this is a tutorial room. They taught me how to use that, and now they're teaching me that color blending exists. Okay. B2. Once again, 2 beams, 1 alternator. Except now it's toggle. 2 power sources, 2 diamonds. Red diamond, blue diamond. Me diamond, you diamond. Uh-huh. I'm not sure what the toggle is going to be for in this case, but we'll see. Okay, you can't shoot diagonally. This red is not diagonal from the purple, so I can't just like shoot it through here and have it line up with the purple. Yeah. I think this is using the overall engine of Evolved. I mean, my first clue is the fact that the title screen actually said it was unchanged from ReThink Evolved 3. And so that was an indicator, but I'm noticing just that when I collide with stuff it makes a sound. Which means it's probably based on the version of the game where stuff can move, as opposed to have them spawn out. I think ReThink 1 and 2 had them like growing out of the ground when you told them where to be or something. This is cool looking. It's one of those like dystopian sci-fi-ish like tech company lobby things, like that giant moving sculpture that's in the ceiling, that's in the main lobby in like Deus Ex Mankind Divided. That's like a big wave. There's also some of those in real life. They're like next level ridiculous. And then a nice inverted pyramid with like a tree on it. These are nice locations to look at. Ah, hi. Okay, let's review my budget, because it is just the 2, right? Yeah, 2 of these, 1 of those. Okay, so we want you to somehow accomplish something. We probably want to switch these sources, because blue is over here. No reason to make red work that hard. I'm not sure what use the toggle will be, besides just being another linear beam. Is it on, by the way? No. That's another issue. I need to figure out how to turn it on. Ah, elevator. Yeah, okay. At least it'll be on, but I'll have to toggle when I want to get back up and down. So I guess the elevator is determined by the purple. The door, which I think is up there? Yeah. The door is opened by the red. Ah. So I saw the contradiction here of the fact that the blue is going through the red, and I realized, ah, the source for me getting it to go there is probably going to be me interrupting in the middle. But interrupt it here, then it doesn't cause the problem. Presumably. Therefore, I still have a different issue, which is that I don't know what to do about the fact that it doesn't line up. Ah, what'll happen if I diagonal this? So like there. There, now where do these meet up? Exactly, okay. That solves that problem. Ta-da!